This is a little different from the kinds of videos I usually make. A subscriber and viewer of mine suggested this idea, so thank you very much. I do sincerely appreciate it. It's early in the morning. That's why my voice is like a little, Sylvester Stallone, Adrian, And plus, I also promised I would make this video, so here we go. Today, I'll be talking about all the live-action shows or movies of specific animes and whether or not they were terrible. Spoiler alert, most of them are. Like, proper shit. I heard that Avatar's first live-action attempt was, by all accounts, abysmal due to the acting and the rushing of the story, to name only a few examples. I could only muster up enough courage to watch one clip. If there is a word that I could use to describe something that's worse than abysmal, I would use that word instead, but that's the best I can do, unfortunately, so take it or leave it.
Now use offense on.
And why in the fuck is this old dude kicking this water CGI bubble like a soccer ball? Or football for you United Kingdom folks. The second attempt seems to have fared slightly better, but even that hasn't gone unscathed by the creatures of darkness. The show's biggest mistake was airing on Netflix, also known as Activist Central, a place where blue-haired pigs dedicate their lives to destroying people's childhoods, one franchise at a time. Despite this initial setback, there seemed to be some hope from the original creators behind the project, until they left. Original series creators Michael DiMartino and Brian Kunisfer turn into an elephant, joined the project when it was first announced in 2010, but in 2020 they left due to creative differences with the studio. The words of a premature death. Sounds very familiar to the Witcher situation. Then again, this is Netflix we're talking about. It's like acting all surprised when you take a muzzle off of a cannibal after a long period of years, and they start eating people again. Once the original creators left the project, everything went to shit. I didn't grow up watching the original animated Avatar show, but I do understand how important it is for millions of people, especially when it comes to preserving the story. The Netflix adaptation? Yeah, doesn't do that. In the original animated series, Sokka, any mispronouncing I apologize for, but it's who I am, baby, is supposed to start off as misogynistic, then develops through the series. Well, in the live-action Netflix adaptation, they said,
"Fuck your character development,"
and completely scrapped that arc. Everyone is flawed. To claim otherwise is wildly untrue. If there's one thing I know for certain, it's that most people love watching severely flawed characters, villains especially, redeem themselves. I'm not saying Sokka is a villain, I'm just saying the redemption concept is most effective towards villains. Look at Negan, Vegeta, and Steve Harrington. We like seeing once despised characters. I mean, I never hated Negan. The other two, that's a different story, but I'm gonna be honest, never hated Negan. Liked him right from the start, but anyways, I digress. We like seeing once despised characters who have done shitty or downright deplorable things change for the better. It's what humanizes them. Excuse me, my burp agrees. That way you can look back and say, hey, remember when that character was a collective pile of dicks? People can't learn from their mistakes if they never make them in the first place. Let me give you an example. I remember making one mistake that I will never make again. That mistake being the time when I drank 2 liters of chocolate milk at once while marathoning Supernatural with my sister. It did not end well. Surprisingly enough, I didn't puke, but I still felt mighty McSick for at least a little while before I just suddenly decided to fuck off and then I was fine again. I got lucky, but I learned a valuable lesson. There's also this very cringy advertisement with Serena Williams, which is done for no other reason than to virtue signal. Again, this is Netflix we're talking about, so I don't think it's out of the question to assume that's why they did it. I'm sure certain individuals are wondering, what does that have to do with Avatar exactly? Good question, because I got no fucking idea. That's their way of getting activists' attention. Hey activists, look at what we did! We're inclusive! When it comes to the CGI for this Netflix adaptation, it's definitely better than it was in the clip that I saw for the movie. But even then, it looks decent at best. I heard the original show did a very good job at showing more and talking less with its approach to storytelling. The Netflix adaptation, based off of what I've heard and seen in many clips, seems to have abandoned the picture is worth 1,000 words concept in favor of just explaining the same thing over and over again. Like Aang constantly being reminded that he is the Avatar. The same thing happened in The Matrix as well. They're constantly reminding Neo that, oh, he's the chosen one, bro. Oh! Attention, producers of the show. Your viewers do not have dementia. You do not have to keep reminding them of the same damn thing over and over again. Not all stories have to be told through dialogue. They can be shown through actions as well. Ori and the Blind Forest, alongside Metroid Prime, are really good at telling a story without uttering a single word. Aang can fly in the Netflix adaptation, whereas in the original, he could only fly with the aid of his glider and Appa. Here's the thing, it gets even more confusing. If he can fly in the live-action adaptation, ill rapping skills, then why the fuck does he even use a glider in the first place? In the animated version, Aang ended up saving his allies during very specific moments, whereas in the Netflix adaptation, many of his heroic acts become a female character's heroic acts. At this point, not even mad, just disappointed. Disappointed for the fans of the original series, because I know what it's like to have something that you love, that you cherish, turn to shite. The acting and writing based off of the clips I've seen is better than it was in the live-action movie.
That's not true, really. Even when they come up with terrible plans. My plans. My strategy. My military, that's what you have insulted.
I said better. I never said it was good. As for the next example, contrary to Avatar, this franchise was a huge part of my childhood, and when they turned it into a live-action movie, oh boy, it's the worst example on this list. I've been watching Dragon Ball Evolution clips specifically for this video. That's right, I endured that suffering for you people. You're welcome. This is probably the kind of torture methods the FBI and CIA use in order to break the spirits of their captives. I can hear the activists now, though.
I take it that you don't have a problem with the fact that Goku was played by a white guy in the live-action movie?
While Goku is technically an alien, he resembles an Asian person, if anything. So, yeah, obviously he shouldn't be played by a white dude in a live-action iteration of Dragon Ball. That didn't pan out the way you thought it would, did it? You unfuckable activist. And to me, Dragon Ball is just one of those animes that doesn't translate well into live action. All the clips that I've seen are just so bad.
First one to touch the ground loses. Prepare to eat dirt.
In all fairness, it's so bad it ended up being funny. And Piccolo, that doesn't even look like Piccolo. In what world? That does not look like Piccolo. That looks like some character from Star Trek. Poor James how do you pronounce his name? Fuck it, I'm just gonna call him James. The guy who played Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He also played Piccolo or King Piccolo, whatever. He made a video to apologize for the movie because he knows how bad it is. But it's not even his fault. If anything, I just blame the directors. The producers, writers. Thankfully, he did redeem himself. He was able to play Zamasu in the English Funimation dub for Dragon Ball Super, and he absolutely killed it. That scene of him screaming is James probably letting out all of his anger and frustration about being involved with Dragon Ball Evolution. Just a theory, which is probably fact. You know it's bad when the actor comes out and they're like, yeah, that movie fucking sucks. Horrible CGI, cringy acting. Special effects look like they were made by a group of college kids over the period of a weekend who just found out that special effects exist. So yeah, it's official. My childhood is ruined. I literally had to watch clips of Dragon Ball Super in order to scrub the sin out of my mind. Who am I kidding? That clip isn't leaving my head anytime soon. And I know how some fans feel about Super, but it's still substantially better than Dragon Ball De-Evolution. Yes, I did that on purpose. That was supposed to be a Kamehameha. Excuse me? Poor Akira Toriyama, he was probably like, oh good god, what have I done? I can't believe I greenlit this project. So, for those of you who haven't yet, be sure to rate, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe, or I will make you watch Dragon Ball Evolution 10,000 times without so much as taking a break. I will tie you in the chair and subject you to that torture. Think about what's at stake.